So good morning students. Today we are going to revise the chapter physical and chemical changes in this video, right? So you observe a number of changes in your daily life, right? Like burning of fuel, rusting of iron, melting of wax, clay modeling, stretching of rubber band, digestion of food, photosynthesis process, right? So these all processes they are going on, right? And there are different types of changes that are basically you observe in your daily life. So how we are going to classify these changes as physical and chemical? So let's take a look here at different types of changes that I have classified under the category of physical and chemical. So tearing of paper, freezing of water into ice, stretching of rubber band, melting of wax, clay modeling, blowing of a balloon, rolling dough into roti, and stretching of a spring. So these are some of the physical changes. And similarly, for the chemical changes, burning of fuel, paper, burning of crackers, rusting of iron, cooking of food, ripening of fruits, photosynthesis process, digestion of food, milk into curd, and growth of plants and animals, and so on, right? So what characteristics we are seeing in a change to be classified as physical and chemical? So let's start these characteristics now. So for a physical change, what we observe is that no new substance is formed. That means the substance is same. From where we are starting, we are getting the original one. There is no change in the substance. But for the chemical change, there is formation of a new substance. So that means something new is formed, right? Second, this is reversible change. Reversible means you can reverse it, okay? This is not reversible. That means we can't reverse this change to get the original substance back, okay? Since this is reversible, that means it is temporary change, right? So as soon as you are reversing the conditions, you will be getting the original substance. So this is representing a temporary change. But for a permanent change, for a chemical change, this is a permanent change. You can't reverse it, okay? Fourth condition or fourth characteristic is there is only change in physical properties of substance. But for the chemical change, both physical and chemical properties they change. Since we are getting a new substance, that means both the physical and the chemical changes they are going to take place, okay? So both the physical and the chemical properties they are going to change. Now here there is only change in the physical properties. So what do you mean by physical properties here? So physical properties means either there can be change in the shape, right? Shape of a substance, size. Either there can be change in the color or there can be change in the state of a substance, okay? So these things they represent the physical properties of a substance, right? But in the chemical change, both the physical appearance, state, color, size, shape, they all change, okay? And for the last point, no energy change is there. That means nothing we have to provide in the form of heat, light, okay? So the reaction it takes place on its own, right? Without any involvement of energy. But here for a chemical change to take place, energy change is there. That means if you want to burn the paper, you have to provide it some heat. Okay, so there means that is the energy change is there associated with the chemical change, but no energy change is there with the physical change. Okay, so this is about the characteristics or the properties of physical or chemical change. Now we have to do in detail the properties of the chemical change, right? So when we are talking about physical and chemical properties, so as I have told you that in the physical change there is change in size, shape, color or state. Size firstly. So if you see this paper, right, this is quite big in size. Let's tear it into pieces. Okay, like this. Now it has reduced in size, but the paper is same, the substance is same, but we have just changed its size. Similarly for a shape, you must be having the clay, right? So you can roll the clay in whatever shape you want. For the color, see, you are having an iron object. Take any iron object and heat it, strongly heat it. It will be converting into red color, right? So that means it is going to change its color, right? So that changes physical change. State very easy. Ice gets converted into water and water gets converted into water vapors, right? So ice is in the solid state, water is in the liquid state, and water vapors, they are in the gaseous state. So in this way there is change in the state of a substance, right? So these all changes, they represent the physical change. Okay, so coming to the next is about the chemical change. So now we are going to discuss some examples, some reactions, okay, that involve the chemical changes in them. So starting from the first is rusting of iron. So this is the first chemical change, rust. Firstly, if we talk about what is rust, so all of you have seen a brown substance, sometimes it appears on the iron objects, right? So that brown flaky substance, that appears on the surface of iron objects. Now they don't appear on their own, but they require two things, right? When the object is in contact with oxygen and water. Okay, so when the iron object is in contact with the oxygen and the water, that are the two important conditions of rusting. That means the contact of the iron object with the oxygen and water, these two are the important conditions of rusting. Okay, so a brown flaky substance, it appears on the surface of the iron object, and this process we called as rusting of iron. Okay, so how we are going to show it in the form of an equation? So let's write down the equation. This is Fe, this is iron, F capital and E should be small, plus O2, this is oxygen, plus H2O, this is water. They are going to give you, what they are going to give you? Fe2O3, right? So this is the formula of rust. So this is iron 3 oxide that we called as rust. So have you seen the two important conditions, the oxygen and the water? It is important for the iron to get rusted. Okay, so what is rusting of the iron? It is the appearance of the brown flaky substance on the surface of the iron when it is in contact with the oxygen and the water. That serve as the two important conditions of rusting. Okay. So next is factors affecting rusting. So the first factor is humidity. Firstly, what is humidity? So it is the amount of water vapors present in air, right? So the content of water vapor that are present in the air, they constitute the humidity, right? So as we know that for the rusting process, water is very, very important. Okay, so if humidity is more, that means rusting process will be fast. Okay, so the substance, it will get rusted very fast, right? So this is the first factor. The second factor, presence of impurities. The impurities, they can be in the form of dust, okay, or some salts. Like if we talk about the sea water, right? So whenever there are impurities and salts present, more is the amount of impurity and salt content, rusting will be faster. Again, these both factors, they are going to fasten the rusting process. Okay, so if they are low in their amount, so rusting process will be slow, but if they are high, the rusting process will be high. Okay, so that's why in case of ships, see the ships, they are continuously in the water, right? So their upper part being in the coastal region, right, being in the sea region, so humidity is more, and since they are in continuous contact with the water that contains some salts, okay, so upper and the lower part of the ship, it get rusted very, very quickly. Okay, so rusting process is fast in that case. So how we are going to get rid of this rusting process, right? So what can we do to avoid this rusting? So prevention. How we are going to prevent the rusting? So the simple methods we will be employing: either oiling, greasing, or painting of the things. Okay, oiling, greasing and painting of the iron objects is the best way to prevent the rusting. Second is galvanization method. Now what is galvanization? So it is basically a type of sacrificial protection in which some other metal is going to be sacrificed for the iron. Okay, so how we are going to write it? It is the process of depositing a layer of zinc on the surface of iron objects. So see, if this is the iron object, what I am going to do is I am going to deposit a thin layer of some other metal over it. Okay, so now this metal, it will be exposed to oxygen and water, right, and it will further corrode, but our iron object, it will be intact. Okay, So you can use some other metals also like chromium. Okay, so zinc, chromium, we use them as a sacrificial protection method in which they will sacrifice, they will be getting corroded, they will be getting rusted, but not iron. Okay, so this is about the prevention of the rusting. So the other methods, right, the other chemical changes we will be discussing in the next video.